For days now, folk have been admiring just how big the Forgotten Knowledge update actually is. And they're right, it is bloody massive in more ways than one. And these very folk have also said just how overwhelming the update is because of its size. And they're also right there too. So then, how can we help fix that? Well, by simply isolating the big time topics, like the Ancient Orchestrina here. For those of you aware of our video on the update, you know that I actually have already shown this new puzzle off. However, it was well into the video and quickly fired through without any specific details. And I want to change that. So then, we all best be heading down under into the caves in search of our blue mush tree forest biomes, as yes, we can now confirm that the lunar grotto biome will not only always be connected to the blue shrooms here, the ancient archives will follow directly after the grotto. So, get to it. Or should you now? I mean, yeah, you'll have to locate the biomes eventually, however no one is taking advantage of any forgotten knowledge before they activate the dang archives themselves. And the only way to do so, and thus receive distilled knowledge from the fountains of knowledge themselves, is through a third socketed iridescent gem. So that means a place in the Moonstone event for us, which also means the earliest one could even potentially get the archives working is day 11. Sounds great, but that is way too much of a stretch for me, however, as you would have to locate the Moonstone, find the ruins, craft the appropriate staves needed, and much more before day 11. And that is just not happening. I don't care who you are. But whatever the case, be it somehow day 11, or day 31, or beyond on another full moon night, the Moonstone event must be completed. Do so though, and then deconstruct the Moon Caller staff afterwards with a deconstruction staff, and only then will we be allowed to socket the final iridescent gem into the last ornate pedestal within the Ancient Archives, and then we can just sit back and listen to the sounds of the Ancient Archives coming to life. Well, kind of, actually. For you see, what is actually happening is Charlie and them, yes, that them, are either launching an assault on the archives or setting up a perimeter to keep something out of them. Whatever the case, we've already covered this. So, back to business here. And our business is this thing, as we've said. The Ancient Orchestrina. And as I said prior, it's a puzzle for Pete's sake. A memory game of sorts. And it's going to require you to place what is known as distilled knowledge in the center of it, and then ask you to proceed to walk on and activate the proper pads in order to unlock a piece of forgotten knowledge. Get it right, and note that it will actually change with each new distilled knowledge ball placed, and you'll be good to go. But what knowledge are we actually gaining here exactly? Well, it actually depends on which fountain of knowledge you pull from, which I was actually unaware of a couple days ago. Hence, this video. The distilled knowledge that we receive from the yellow fountain of knowledge will explode into our brains the crafting recipe for the Terra Firma Tamper as seen here. And the Terra Firma Tamper is a new science station that allows us to craft our very own turf of our choosing as we please. Not bad. The red fountain will give us distilled knowledge that eventually leads to the craft for collected dust under the refinement tab. And this stuff is a bit more involved than a simple crafting station, mind you. For you see, you can put one along with what seems like any filler into another new structure called the Ancient Kiln for a special recipe called Ambrosia. It cannot be eaten by players, and heck, it essentially does nothing stats-wise, really, as but one mob in the entire game has any use of it regardless. Those being dust moths. Feed one some Ambrosia, and it will seek out its home, places called tidy hidey holes, and then proceed to clean for quite some time, just like you can see them doing with some normal structures around these places. But once they're done, a prize awaits. Thule-site. Yes, everyone, collected dust is our ticket to a process that leads to a renewable source of Thule-site beyond vanquishing the ancient fuel weaver over and over again every 20-ish days. Very nice. But finally, the blue fountain of knowledge. This will lead to the Astral Detector following a puzzle solving, of course. And by golly, it actually looks like this new structure works this time. Hence another reason for this video, so I can show it off. But once placed anywhere on the surface, the Astral Detector will use one of its 10 uses to indicate a direction of a very important item at a very specific location. So follow them arrows, but don't spam its uses along the way. You'll regret it. But eventually, you will be led to said specific spot, where you can then place the Astral Detector down in order to have it literally drill through the ground and bring up a piece of the newest celestial altar, the Ancient Moon Altar. Unfortunately, you will be needing both pieces of the altar for anything to mean, well, anything. So chances are you'll be needing 2 or more detectors along the way. But the way to what exactly? Now that's a good question, ain't it? 3 separate celestial altars. 3 very different ways of obtaining them, but all 3 no doubt connected for a far greater purpose. Otherwise, they wouldn't spawn what is currently known as mysterious energy when placed near one another. The true endgame of Don't Starve Together is coming, and I think an upcoming video will actually detail how to go about constructing all these altars so that we can be ready for it. Cause for now, there you have it, everyone. The Ancient Orchestrina, the fountains of knowledge with their own distilled knowledges, and what it all leads to at the end of the day, without, of course, having to watch a 15-minute video to find out. But more forgotten knowledge content to come, I am sure, as again, this is an update that just kinda keeps on giving. But thanks for watching, folks. Well wishes to all. Go out there to gain that knowledge, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.